Welcome, dear listeners, to another episode of the Stories Philippines podcast, where we delve into tales that will send shivers down your spine. I'm your host, Alex, ready to guide you through a chilling story that will make you question what lurks in the shadows. As always, we strive to bring you the most unsettling and haunting narratives, and today's episode is no exception. Today's eerie tale comes from a listener named Mon, who shared with us a bone-chilling experience involving a doll that seemed to be more than just a mere toy. Mon's story unravels around a haunting doll that brought fear and nightmares into their life. Intrigued? Let's dive deeper into the unsettling world of Mon and the mysterious doll that plagued their existence. The doll in Mon's story was not your average toy. It stood at about 18 inches tall, with porcelain skin that seemed to glow eerily in the dim light of Mon's room. Its eyes, painted a deep shade of blue, followed Mon wherever they went, giving off an almost lifelike gaze that sent shivers down their spine. The doll's dress, a faded Victorian-style gown, added to its haunting presence, making it seem like a relic from a bygone era that held secrets best left undisturbed. From the moment the doll entered Mon's life, a sense of unease settled over them like a dark cloud. It seemed to exude a malevolent energy, casting a shadow of fear wherever it went. Mon couldn't shake the feeling that the doll was watching them, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Its presence alone was enough to send chills down Mon's spine, creating an atmosphere of dread that lingered long after the doll was out of sight. As if its unsettling appearance wasn't enough, the doll seemed to possess a sinister power over Mon's dreams. Night after night, Mon would find themselves trapped in a recurring nightmare where the doll would slowly approach them, its porcelain hands reaching out to wrap around their throat in a chilling grip. The sensation of suffocation was so vivid that Mon would wake up gasping for air, drenched in cold sweat, unable to shake the feeling that the doll's malevolent presence was all too real. One night, as Mon drifted into a restless slumber, a chilling dream unfolded before them. In the dream, the porcelain doll, with its unnervingly lifelike blue eyes and intricate Victorian-style dress, seemed to come alive, its delicate fingers tightening around Mon's throat, cutting off their breath. Gasping for air, Mon awoke in a cold sweat, the sensation of being choked lingering hauntingly, even after waking. The eerie occurrences didn't stop there. Mon began noticing the doll mysteriously moving from one place to another within their room. At times, it would be sitting on the bed, when Mon distinctly remembered placing it on a shelf earlier. The inexplicable movements of the doll deepened the sense of foreboding that shrouded Mon's every interaction with the haunting figurine. Adding to the unsettling nature of the doll's presence, Mon started experiencing an unexplained tickling sensation whenever the doll was nearby. It was as if unseen fingers were lightly brushing against Mon's skin, sending shivers down their spine. The combination of the doll's malevolent aura, its mysterious movements, and this strange sensation created a chilling atmosphere that Mon found increasingly difficult to endure. Mon's parents were skeptical about the haunting presence of the doll in their child's life. Despite Mon's vivid descriptions of the doll's eerie movements and unsettling energy, their parents dismissed it as mere imagination. The lack of validation from the people closest to Mon added to the distress of the situation. The disbelief from Mon's parents had a profound impact on their experiences. Feeling unheard and invalidated, Mon's fears intensified, causing a sense of isolation and fear that lingered even outside the presence of the doll. The inability to have their concerns taken seriously left Mon feeling vulnerable and alone in facing the sinister entity that haunted their nightmares. Ultimately, faced with parental skepticism and the growing terror induced by the doll, Mon made the difficult decision to part ways with the haunting figurine. Relinquishing the doll was a bittersweet moment, as it marked the end of one chapter of fear, but also left lingering questions and unease about what the future held without its eerie presence. After parting ways with the haunted doll, Mon's memories remained clouded by the lingering effects of its presence. The eerie encounters and unsettling experiences continued to haunt Mon long after the doll was gone. The sense of unease, and fear seemed to have seeped into Mon's subconscious, leaving a lasting imprint on their psyche. The childhood fears instilled by the haunting doll had a profound impact on Mon's development. The constant state of anxiety and dread caused by the doll's malevolent energy created a sense of vulnerability and unease that persisted, even in adulthood. The trauma from those experiences shaped Mon's perception of the world and influenced their approach to dealing with fear and uncertainty. The story of the haunting doll serves as a stark reminder of the importance of addressing and validating children's fears. Mon's distressing encounters with the doll were dismissed by their parents, leading to a sense of isolation and disbelief. This lack of validation exacerbated the fear and anxiety experienced by Mon, underscoring the significance of acknowledging and supporting children when they express their fears and concerns. Following Mon's harrowing experience with the malevolent doll, it becomes evident that acknowledging fears is crucial in navigating through terrifying encounters. The impact of dismissing or downplaying these fears can have long-lasting repercussions on an individual's mental well-being. By recognizing and validating these emotions, we create a space for healing and understanding, allowing individuals to process and overcome their anxieties. In the aftermath of chilling encounters like Mon's with the haunted doll, it is essential for communities to come together and support each other. By offering a listening ear, empathy, and reassurance, we can help those grappling with fear feel less isolated and more empowered to confront their demons. Sharing stories, experiences, and coping mechanisms can foster a sense of camaraderie and solidarity among individuals facing similar terrors. The power of storytelling lies in its ability to connect people through shared experiences. As we wrap up Mon's spine-chilling narrative, I encourage all our listeners to share their own tales of the uncanny and supernatural. Your stories not only offer solace to those who feel alone in their fears, but also contribute to a collective understanding of the mysterious forces that dwell in the shadows. Let your voice be heard, and let us weave a tapestry of eerie accounts together. As we delve deeper into the chilling tale of the haunted doll, it becomes evident that sharing our eerie encounters can foster a sense of community and understanding in the face of the uncanny. The significance of acknowledging fears and supporting each other cannot be understated, especially when it comes to confronting the unknown. If you've been captivated by Mon's story and want to hear more spine-tingling narratives like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the Stories Philippines podcast. By subscribing, you'll ensure you never miss out on the latest episodes filled with suspense, mystery, and the supernatural. We invite all our listeners to share their own scary stories for future episodes. Whether it's a ghostly encounter, a haunted object, or a hair-raising experience that still gives you goosebumps, your story could be featured on an upcoming episode of the podcast. Don't keep those bone-chilling tales to yourself. Let us know and join us in creating a collective narrative of the eerie and unexplained. To understand the full scope of the doll's haunting presence, it is essential to delve into its origins. The doll, with its faded Victorian-style gown and lifelike blue eyes, seemed to be a relic from a bygone era. Mon's family had acquired the doll from an antique store, where it had been sitting for years, collecting dust on a high shelf. The store owner, an elderly woman with an enigmatic smile, mentioned that the doll had once belonged to a young girl from a wealthy family in the late 19th century. The girl, named Eliza, had tragically died under mysterious circumstances, and the doll was said to have been her most cherished possession. Legend had it that Eliza's spirit was bound to the doll, unable to move on to the afterlife. Her untimely death had left an imprint of her sorrow and anger on the doll, causing it to become a vessel of malevolent energy. The antique store owner warned Mon's family that the doll was not an ordinary toy and should be treated with caution. However, Mon's parents, skeptical of supernatural tales, brushed off the warning and brought the doll home, unknowingly inviting a sinister presence into their lives. When the doll first entered Mon's life, it was met with a mixture of curiosity and excitement. As a child, Mon was fascinated by old toys and historical artifacts, and the Victorian-style doll seemed like a perfect addition to their collection. Mon spent hours examining the doll's intricate details, marveling at its lifelike features and delicate craftsmanship. However, as days turned into weeks, Mon's initial excitement began to wane, replaced by a growing sense of unease. The doll's lifelike gaze, which initially seemed enchanting, now felt intrusive and unsettling. Mon's discomfort grew as they noticed the doll's eyes following them around the room, always watching, always waiting. Mon's psychological state deteriorated rapidly as the doll's malevolent presence became more apparent. The recurring nightmares, the sensation of being choked, and the unexplained tickling only served to heighten Mon's fear and anxiety. The once vibrant and curious child became withdrawn and paranoid, constantly on edge, and unable to find solace even in the comfort of their own home. In addition to the nightmares and the doll's mysterious movements, Mon began to hear faint whispers in the dead of night. The whispers, barely audible, seemed to emanate from the doll itself. The words were indistinguishable, but the tone was filled with malice and resentment. Mon would lie awake for hours, straining to hear the whispered words, their heart pounding with fear. The presence of the doll also brought physical manifestations of its malevolent energy. Mon's room became noticeably colder, with inexplicable cold spots that seemed to follow the doll's movements. The lights in the room would flicker and dim whenever the doll was nearby, casting long, eerie shadows that danced on the walls. Even the family pets seemed to sense the doll's sinister presence. The family cat, usually affectionate and playful, would hiss and arch its back whenever it was near the doll. The dog, a usually fearless and loyal companion, would whimper and refuse to enter Mon's room. These reactions only served to validate Mon's fears and confirm that the doll was more than just an inanimate object. The climax of Mon's ordeal came one fateful night when, unable to bear the doll's presence any longer, Mon decided to confront it. Fueled by a mix of fear and determination, Mon took the doll into the living room, away from the safety of their bedroom. The house was eerily silent, the only sound being the ticking of the clock on the wall. That night, Mon experienced the most vivid and terrifying nightmare yet. In the dream, the doll was not just reaching out to choke them but was fully alive, its porcelain face twisted into a sinister grin. The doll spoke in a voice that was both childlike and malevolent, taunting Mon and promising eternal torment. Mon felt the doll's cold hands around their neck once again, the grip tightening, and just as they were about to succumb to the suffocating darkness, Mon awoke with a start. In a desperate bid to rid themselves of the malevolent doll once and for all, Mon decided to destroy it. Armed with a hammer, Mon took the doll to the backyard and, with trembling hands, began to smash it to pieces. Each blow was accompanied by a sense of liberation, as if the doll's hold on Mon was weakening with every strike. The porcelain shattered, and the fragments lay scattered on the ground, the lifelike eyes now lifeless and devoid of their haunting gaze. While the physical presence of the doll was gone, its impact on Mon's life remained. The nightmares became less frequent but did not disappear entirely. The sense of being watched and the occasional cold spots in the room were unsettling reminders of the doll's malevolent energy. Mon's psychological scars ran deep, and the trauma from the encounter influenced their behavior and outlook on life. It took the dramatic events surrounding the doll's destruction for Mon's parents to finally acknowledge the severity of the situation. Witnessing their child's terror and the inexplicable phenomena, they realized that their skepticism had only exacerbated Mon's fears. The family took steps to support Mon, seeking the help of a psychologist to address the lingering trauma and working together to create a safe and comforting environment. With time, therapy, and the unwavering support of their family, Mon began to heal from the haunting experience. They developed coping mechanisms to deal with the residual fear and anxiety, and slowly, the memories of the doll's malevolent presence began to fade. Mon's story became a cautionary tale within the family, a reminder of the importance of validating each other's fears and the power of belief in the unseen. Mon's harrowing experience with the haunting doll serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of acknowledging and validating fears, especially those of children. Dismissing or ridiculing these fears can have profound and lasting effects on an individual's mental well-being. By recognizing and addressing these emotions, we create a supportive environment that fosters healing and understanding. In times of fear and uncertainty, it is crucial for communities to come together and support one another. Empathy, patience, and a willingness to listen can make all the difference for someone grappling with their demons. By sharing our own experiences and offering a compassionate ear, we can help each other navigate through the darkness and find solace in our shared humanity. The act of storytelling is a powerful tool for connection and healing. Mon's tale has resonated with many, offering a sense of solidarity to those who have faced similar fears. As we come to the end of this episode, I encourage all our listeners to share their own stories of the uncanny and supernatural. Your experiences, no matter how terrifying, can provide comfort and understanding to others who may be feeling isolated in their fears. Together, we can weave a tapestry of eerie accounts that illustrate the mysterious forces that dwell in the shadows. As we delve deeper into the chilling tale of the haunted doll, it becomes evident that sharing our eerie encounters can foster a sense of community and understanding in the face of the uncanny. The significance of acknowledging fears and supporting each other cannot be understated, especially when it comes to confronting the unknown. If you've been captivated by Mon's story and want to hear more spine-tingling narratives like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the Stories Philippines podcast. By subscribing, you'll ensure you never miss out on the latest episodes filled with suspense, mystery, and the supernatural. We invite all our listeners to share their own scary stories for future episodes. Whether it's a ghostly encounter, a haunted object, or a hair-raising experience that still gives you goosebumps, your story could be featured on an upcoming episode of the podcast. Don't keep those bone-chilling tales to yourself. Let us know and join us in creating a collective narrative of the eerie and unexplained. As we come to the end of our exploration of Mon's harrowing journey, it is important to remember that these stories, while chilling, serve a greater purpose. They remind us of the power of fear, the importance of validation, and the strength found in community and shared experiences. As we conclude this episode, just imagine for a moment the world as seen through Mon's eyes. The oppressive presence of the doll, the vivid nightmares that blurred the line between dream and reality, and the crushing feeling of being unbelieved by those closest to them. It's a poignant reminder of the immense impact that a single object imbued with malevolent energy can have on a person's life. Yet, within this darkness, there is also a glimmer of hope. Through the support of family, understanding professionals, and the cathartic act of storytelling, Mon began to reclaim their life from the shadows that had once enveloped it. They became a symbol of resilience, demonstrating that even in the face of terror, healing and peace are possible. So, dear listeners, as you turn off your lights tonight and settle into bed, remember Mon's story. Let it serve as a reminder to acknowledge and validate the fears of those around you, to listen with empathy, and to support each other through the unknown and the terrifying. And should you encounter something that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, know that you are not alone. We are all connected by the stories we share and the experiences we face. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Stories Philippines podcast. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and keep the lights on. This is Alex, signing off.